midnight session in the morning. The gang is ready to go and it's time for the show. It's time for midnight session in the morning.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Midnight Sedge in the Morning. It is officially week 2 of 2026, which so far has been a very uneventful year. Nothing major happening in the news or anything like that. Nothing to talk about, but joining me to talk about all that nothing is Marvin Montanaro of Geeks and Gamers, That Park Place, and the M4 Empire fame. How you doing?
Hey, doing well. It's been a weekend of just nothing going on. Just we had to really scrape the bottom of the barrel to find the news this week.
Totally. I mean, even the Hollywood trade had to absolutely scrape the bottom of the barrel to provide uninformed analysis on matters on which they know nothing. But of course, we have more informed people here, such as Mr. Chris Brawley. How's it going?
It's going well, guys. Happy Monday all around. Just glad to be here.
Indeed. Also joining us is Mr. Chato. And I can't wait for the next segment of appalling news. That should be fun.
Oh, it's coming out later today. You'll get ready. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think so too. It helps when you have like things happening in the world. But of course, we haven't really.
Yes and no, because it's a question of whether I can get some laughs out of it or not. Sometimes the current events is not the absolute best source of humor.
Well, it's all about how you frame it. Or if it's not the news, then you can just look at how the news is received. I mean, there's always something hilarious there.
Oh, yeah.
If you need help, I'll give you some tips to some Norwegian reactions to things. That'll be something to laugh at, I guarantee you.
Well, yeah. I am editing together the experts, the as we know, global experts on any of these things, a whole bunch of white liberal women and their reaction to the Maduro affair. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Also on that note, Grimzilla says for $2, goodness, what a weekend, huh, guys? I'm having fun. Yeah, I think lots of people are having quite a lot of fun right about now. So yeah, let's actually begin with this, since we're not going to ignore that elephant in the room, that the territorial United States just got a whole hell of a lot larger, didn't it? And also got a pretty nice chunk of oil. I mean, let's just say, how about we begin with you, Paul? Just take us through it. What happened this weekend? Like a little bit outside of the world of entertainment, although there's a hefty overlap.
I would say it is very entertaining, depending on. There's just so many layers to this, from a comedic perspective. On the practical perspective, as you're asking me to report on, is that
look, what's this for those who have been living under a rock? What's this thing that's going on?
So the
whether you've been living under a rock or Afghanistan,
the not quite legitimate president of Venezuela, Mr. Maduro, has been secreted out of the country, including his wife, by the United States. Some kind of SEAL team affair went in there and took him away. Did some sort of diversionary bombing of parts of the country, mostly military, and arrived in New York and is being charged with narco syndicate corruption, which I'm assuming they're doing it in New York just to scare Mamdani a bit, a fellow commie.
Yeah, who was, of course, has been very supportive of Maduro.
Yeah, that's well. There's an endless list of people who are supportive of Maduro. So yeah,
That
you know,
list got a lot longer about 3 days ago.
and I don't think it's oil related as much as Chinese influence related. That's my perspective. Is
Yeah.
that I think the United States is taking a harder and harder line on China than a lot of people realize, and this is something that a lot of oil was flowing from Venezuela to China, and this is a strategic decision based on that. But I don't know. I think it's slippery slope. I mean, it gives license to potentially other countries to just invade other countries and say, "Hey, I have reasons."
Yeah. Well, I will say that first of all, I congratulate you on seeing the China connection. In reality, there are many connections, but most people don't know that because the news don't tell them. I'm in fact
Nope.
so appalled myself with the news coverage of this, especially the one in the Hollywood trades, which all of the Hollywood weirdos will be reading, where you have learned absolutely nothing. Other than can you get your existing bias confirmed. Why did they do this? Well, in fact, there's many reasons, and there's some really, really tremendously important ones when it comes to America's future. But I don't see that in the news. Like, I happen to know that because I have a background in finance and I used to work in commodities, and I was very acutely aware of, in particular, the importance of the petrodollar. Longtime watchers will remember me saying a couple of years back, in aghast, like, why are we talking about entertainment? Why is the news not reporting that Saudi Arabia just ended the petrodollar? It's back again now. And there's so much going on here that isn't being reported. So I think I'm going to do a video on this myself.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very complementary to what you're doing. I'll do the context.
The lack of deep insight by the media into what's happening in Venezuela is shocking. It
is shocking.
It's almost childish.
It's intentional. It's completely intentional. It's not even like ignorance. It is they don't want to acknowledge it because then it makes the orange man look good.
I think it's intentional, but it's also reflexive. I think it's just a natural reflex. Whatever Trump did, we've got to figure out what's bad about it. And I was watching Margaret Brennan on CBS.
Oh my God, I hate her.
I don't like anybody named Brennan. Honestly, I'm sorry for anybody in our audience.
She is so bad. She asks the worst questions.
She's like, well, if there were more people involved, why didn't you go ahead and grab them too? And Rubio's like, we grabbed the man who thinks he's president there. I mean, what are we supposed to do? Just spend another 5 or 6 days just rounding everybody up? This was a fantastic, almost bloodless capture in the middle of the night in a military base, because this Maduro was living in a military base. For them to be able to pull that off, it's impressive. I think you're right, Andre, not just that it's about petrodollar, because this threatened our hegemony with the petrodollar.
Your hegemony was already over until Trump
it was almost over with the BRICS and Russia. I mean, they were dealing not using the dollar to price their oil.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Saudi Arabia,
I think this is more of a hemisphere protection thing, which goes back to why Trump had talked about Greenland and his overtures towards Canada. This also severely will impact Canada because that's where we were getting most of our or a lot of our oil recently. And I think Canada, or not Canada in general, not the ubiquitous Royal Canada, but the people who make the governmental decisions in Canada not wanting to do the XL pipeline or the Keystone pipeline and things like that is going to come back to bite them once this oil starts flowing from Venezuela, which you could make arguments about whether or not we're entitled to it. But I do know that Hugo Chavez basically took over all the infrastructure that American companies had built down there to have oil, so we could have oil. Then Hugo Chavez took it over, and then of course Maduro kept it going. And Maduro is, arguably not the real president down there. I think he lost the last election. He refused to leave. And of course, the recreational fun thing that's not really being reported at all, which I think if you do a video on it, Andre, you should mention it, is their Venezuelan spy chief 3 weeks ago confessed and wrote this long letter. He's in prison in the States, that Venezuela is the one that started Smartmatic and Dominion voting machines, and that they had been tampering with elections all over the world, including the US and including the 2020 election. So now they've scooped up Maduro. He's alive. They didn't, throw him over the side of the boat like they did Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
So who knows? Are they gonna force some kind of confession that Trump really did win the 2020 election, and now he's entitled for another term? I mean, the Jason Bourne-esque elements of all this are certainly fun to recreationally believe. We'll see how it all shakes out. But
what isn't answered is what's going to happen to the people of Venezuela now, because the political machinery is still intact.
Yeah,
Most of it. Yeah. Dulce Rodriguez has been sworn in as the latest president. I have a joke about that. Believe it or not.
Was that the vice
president? Yeah.
She was in Russia, I think, when this happened, wasn't she?
I don't know, but I mean, I went through Ground News, and she has a fairly nasty little record herself.
I'm about to say, like, they're keeping that administration in power.
So this is how is this going to help?
And this is actually, this is a good move. Well, I can tell you that this is not about democracy. This is not about nation building, certainly not in the short term, maybe in the long term. But this is actually really clever, and it shows that they're not repeating the mistakes of past administrations like Jimmy Carter. Because what did they do? They would topple a regime and replace it with a new regime that had absolutely no support in the population whatsoever. What they did right here is that, and I think this was pretty clever, they removed the head of the Hydra, basically, which was Maduro himself. Now, all of the state, everything like that, this remains intact. You have largely the same civil servants, you have the same military, you have the same generals. These are the same generals that normally would seize power for themselves in various developing nations, let's put it like that, like this. And Trump, he even said that in the news, that or he was very public about it, that to anyone that's feeling ambitious, what happened to Maduro can happen to you, which is a warning to anyone. Do not step out the line. Do not get ambitious. Do not try to seize power for yourself, because if you do, it's going to be a mighty short reign. So basically what he's doing, he's keeping everything intact, working the way that it is right now. And I think that in time, it's going to work even better. But this way, there's not going to be any complaints, even from Maduro's followers, few as they are, but they're mighty, about like interference, loss of democracy, yada, 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 because you just changed, formally, you just changed the head of state. That's all that happened here. Everything else remains intact. And of course, the government isn't really working. It's not really benefiting the people, but give it time, maybe that's going to work. That's how you keep this thing bloodless, how you keep prevent an insurgency from happening. And I just have to address one comment here. 40 people dead is bloodless. Well, considering that you just toppled a head of state here, in the larger scheme of things, those aren't many casualties. Of course, that is very little support for those that died and their
families
I
think
and
that's a
everything.
reaction to something that I said. I said relatively bloodless. I know that
It is relatively bloodless, but here's the point. But
none of those were civilians, right?
Well, they were soldiers shooting at.
They were soldiers. Yeah, these were
soldiers.
basically Maduro's lifeguards.
Yeah.
They were the tough resistance. So they died in the line of duty, and they died heroic deaths. And
the thing that I was impressed by was that they were able to do this without hitting any civilian targets, without any civilian casualties. without any casualties on the American side. I mean, Obama was dropping bombs on civilian targets, like
Yeah.
there was no tomorrow. But I will say, and this is something that you could see in the United States when you don't subscribe to either of the ruling parties, is that had Obama done this, the Republicans would be having the same reaction the Democrats are having now.
Oh, yeah.
It is always just, if the other guy did it, it's the worst thing that's ever happened.
I think there's a very good chance that if Kamala was in power right now, this still might have been done.
Really? You think so?
Well, this is the funny part.
It's a non-zero chance.
It's funny seeing people like Kamala Harris denigrating this, and then it being revealed that her and Biden had set up a $25 million bounty on Maduro's head.
Exactly.
Is Trump going to collect that now?
Yeah, I know, right?
That would be hilarious.
I do get, people being afraid for, most importantly, the Venezuelan people. You did see a lot of celebration and just some heart-wrenching videos of people here in the States who are Venezuelan, who left Venezuela because of Maduro, that regime. That one woman woke her husband up in the middle of the night. He didn't believe her. And then he got on his phone, he started to look, and he was celebrating and weeping, and all these people were just so thrilled to get Maduro out of power. So there's hope.
I have some personal experience with that as well, because as many of you know, I'm only recently back in Norway. The last 2 years, I lived in the Canary Islands. And the Canary Islands, like most of mainland Spain, is flooded with immigrants from especially Venezuela. And these aren't necessarily poor people. These are the rich people. These are people that would be socialites and stuff like that. Yeah. But that were taken down many pegs and now work as nannies and as cleaners and stuff like that. And these are a very, very big part of the Spanish economy. Like, for instance, they are certainly in the Canary Islands. I don't know too much about mainland Spain. But it's not like normal to send old relatives to retirement homes and stuff like that. No, you have them home, and then you have a couple of South Americans come work for you and take care of them at home, typically Venezuelans. So due to my then in-laws, I got to know quite a few Venezuelans. And everything I've heard since is rejoice and celebration and chance to make Venezuela great again, and quite a few wearing red hats in honor of Trump, who did this.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's pretty much the general consensus. But I get Paul's thoughts about, leaving the remaining members of the administration there. How's that going to help? But also, I think this is it has to be so surgical to do something like this, because it would be massively disruptive if you just said your entire government's gone. You figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's
how you get in. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
That's the mistake America made in Iraq, where
that's how you get insurgency.
Brennan made the mistake of getting rid of the apparatchiks that at least made things work and connect in Iraq. It was the absolute dumbest thing to do. Work with the local police as opposed to just getting rid of them.
Right.
But honestly, I mean, for those who may think I'm like a warmonger or stuff like that, I see the benefits of doing this. I was always against Iraq. I could tell right away that this was the biggest strategic mistake in modern political history.
Yeah,
was the invasion of Iraq. It should never.
Never should have happened in the first place.
And all of the politicians all of the politicians responsible for that, honestly, they should be
tarred and feathered.
They should be hanging from the lampposts outside the White House.
As Bill Maher said,
the Western world.
As Bill Maher said, we attacked the wrong country.
Totally.
You know what's funny about this too that I don't think's gotten enough attention. It just got, of course, there's so much happening at once. But so this guy's going up to the Southern District of New York, or New York City now, for his trial, or to face his indictments. Well, the judge who's been assigned the case is Hellerstein. You may not know this judge, but it's also the same judge that barred the Trump administration from deporting Venezuelan gang members using the Alien Enemies Act. So who knows what's about to happen with this case. Could you imagine if this judge says, nope, you got to send him back. You got to take him back to his
There's
palace.
there's a very real chance that that could happen with
Mhm.
with these very liberal, obviously Soros funded judges and stuff like that. I mean,
Oh, he's a 92. No, not. I don't know if he's Soros funded. He was appointed by Clinton. The guy's 92 years old. I don't even know what he's still doing on the bench. But it's neither here nor there.
Well,
It was a big
that's insane.
weekend.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on here because we have other stuff to talk about. But first, we're going to go through through the similar or the super chats on this topic. Packing Proton says President Trump wants more Norwegians. Thoughts, Andre? Yeah. Well, here's the thing that he can get more Norwegians if he makes it attractive for Norwegians to come. There's many of us who are deeply frustrated with the way that Norway is being ran into the ground. Like, we're basically ran by our own Biden right now. So if you make it sufficiently attractive, plenty of Norwegians that would be very happy to move to Trump's America. And then Packing Protons says provide another $5. Last week's mysterious word in poll chat that read YouTube K88er replaced the 88 with else. YouTube censor strikes. Okay, now we know that. Yeah. And then we Hypergiver says the bombing of Chavez tomb was hilarious.
Did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. That's the first I hear of it. But
Yeah, no. It apparently it did. That was one of the.
Did the Americans do that, or did
yeah.
like the Venezuelans do it?
No. The Americans did. When they were coming in with the helicopters, they
Just
dropped
hit it on
bombs.
the way in.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing that you can after the fact say, oh, we just missed it. It was a pure accident.
I'd love somebody to ask
Pure
about
accident, a
Yeah.
very specific targeted accident that a lot of Venezuelans will
saying
be very, very happy about.
They're saying in the chat it was a building next to it, not the tomb itself.
It's
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So,
Then maybe they missed.
Now we're back to
Imperialistic
accident
foolishness.
territory.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. And Miller says for 35 South African rands, news coverage of Iran still framing it as economic uprising when it's 50 years of oppression, chanting return of Reza Pahlavi the Shah. There's
It's a combination of things.
It's a rioting going on in Iran as well. I just hope that these things will be more successful than the so-called Arab Spring from 2011, where we were stupidly told by Western media that they were chanting for democracy and freedom when they were chanting for literally anything but. But we'll see what happens with that. Pilgrim Media says, I believe that the Monroe Doctrine applies here.
Sure. That's the argument. It's a hemispheric protection.
They make the best shock absorbers. Well, they used to, not anymore.
Yeah.
Is that what they're referring to? Like
absolutely.
low rider cars?
Yeah, James
Puerto Rico?
Monroe was our
Oh.
fifth president. You might want to
Oh,
do a little American history. I don't know if they teach
My-
American history in Canada.
yeah,
Probably not.
we get quite a bit more. We get more American history than you get Canadian history.
I would guarantee that. I don't think I
That's
got
probably
any.
true.
Canadian.
we have never heard a second of Canadian history
No.
in an American.
We're so
school.
jingoistic here.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, if it
I was in
helps,
middle school
most
when I
countries
found out
are that
Canada
way.
existed.
No, come on. No, sir.
I'd love to do a video with you guys. You see some of those things where you have a bunch of Americans being told, here's a map of the world, place the name on all of the countries that you can where they belong.
I can do it to music.
hilarious.
I think you guys would have learned more about Canada if the 1812 war wasn't a stalemate. Yeah, if you had you had thoroughly beat the British, Canadians, and the Iroquois in our and the Wendat up on our end, then you probably have had a little bit of a blip. But for us, it's a very super important battle.
Yeah. I now have to ask about Chris and Marvin. Have you heard about this 1812 war to which Giotto is referring in the first
In
place?
passing, they never really covered it in history class. They just got. I know that the White House got burned down, but I couldn't tell you anything
Yes,
else. About
that's
it.
why it's the White House.
Yeah.
Yep.
Canadians
No,
went
I only
down.
heard about it when I grew up. They did not teach that in grade school.
You torched York, which became Toronto.
Yep.
We went down, torched whatever the building was. It wasn't white at the time. It
The
was
presidential mansion,
presidential
state
outhouse.
yeah.
And then you rebuilt it, painted it white, and then it became the White House. So it wouldn't have been the White House with us. And just so you know, for us, Benedict Arnold was a hero.
Yeah.
So bite me.
Them's fighting words, buddy.
I can identify the nations of the world via song because the Animaniacs Nations of the World song is one of my karaoke songs.
Oh, there
I
you
don't
go.
know it. I don't
Yeah,
know
There
it.
you go.
Oh, it's
Anyways, yeah.
United States, Canada,
Yeah.
Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominica, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil. I can keep going, but
Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
That's really,
very
really good.
cool. Yeah. And just to finish that, I just have to say, as just an outside listening to the North Americans deciding the relative importance of their history and their wars. To me, I was like thinking of M. Bison in the 1994 Street Fighter movie, being like, to you, it was the most important thing that happened in your life that defined you. To me, it was Tuesday. It's kind of like what it's saying.
You know, this Iran thing might have been dealt with earlier if Obama did not give back billions of dollars to these assholes.
Well, let's just say that I think that the Obama presidency, as we get further and further removed from it in time, and more people see what came of it, is going
I know
to
where you're
age
going.
really freaking poorly.
The man was a traitor. I'll leave it there.
Yeah. But we are going to move on. We have a few more super chats. They have not been forgotten. I'm just putting a pin in them for the time being as we move on to this little segment that we do on Mondays. As soon as
Yeah, let's
soon as
do
I
some
can
of
find it.
we have a mandate here. Here we've gone off to.
yeah, exactly.
Foreign-
We have a mandate.
Foreign affairs. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a mandate to return from foreign affairs to the domestic affairs of the box office, brought to you by Mr. Paul Chato. And the
Happy.
big news this weekend is actually worldwide, not just domestic, because Avatar has passed the $1 billion mark, and it did so in 18 days. Which is one day more than what was needed for Avatar: The Way of Water a few years back.
still trailing
still-
Way of Water by about 23%.
Yeah, but still, I have to say, I'm impressed. I did not anticipate it doing that well, but here we are, and now it's a question of how big is this thing going to be, and what the trades are wondering is, can this thing make it to 2 billion? Because obviously, even though it's trailing The Way of Water by 23%, I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised on Cameron's behalf for these numbers. But maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong to be. What say you, Marvin? You obviously have thoughts on this.
If it gets to 1.7, I'd be shocked. I think just based on the way it's going, it's probably going to have a decent hold in the box office. These movies always do. The big news, I think, with this is it has sort of collapsed at the domestic box office as opposed to Way of Water. I think it's made about 300 something million right now domestically, whereas this point, The Way of Water was like 425 or something like that, or 450. So really, that's why it's trailing Way of Water so much. It's the global interest appears to have sustained, but Americans don't care at all. And yeah, that seems to be the problem. Is domestic box office is the thing that's kind of faltered on it. Now, look, no one's going to say it's not a success. It made $1 billion. Of course, it's a success. But when you look at it in terms of franchise longevity, what you want to see is, the steady upward momentum. And what we're seeing is the exact opposite. We're seeing what we saw with the Star Wars sequels, where it's a steady downward momentum. And, even though those movies all made $1 billion, each one made less than the one before it, to the point where The Rise of Skywalker lost money, we found out, because of the UK tax filings. So they're being very tight-lipped about what this Avatar Fire and Ash costs. And I'm wondering if $1 billion is enough to even break even on this.
Well, it's enough to-
Remember, that's not because the movie cost $1 billion. It's because the theaters only get a percentage of the box office revenue, and overseas they get even less.
You mean the studios only get a percentage?
The theater, yeah, studios. That's what I meant. Yeah, the especially when it comes to China. I mean, I think the studio percentage in China is something like 20%. And when it comes to Avatar, because of existing contracts, that 20% gets split between Disney and James Cameron. James Cameron takes a lot of the box office gross for these movies. So you got to wonder how much money Disney sunk into this.
It's not going to set any records. Obviously, The Way of Water is probably going to be sort of the pinnacle of this franchise. And I think a lot of that is due to there being so much time between the original and the sequel. And now here we are again. It's kind of, we're going to go see the greatest hits again. But yeah, you can't argue with $1 billion. That's a nice big fat number, but it's not going to set any records. And you're right. I think Way of Water got to $1 billion in 2 weeks flat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
One thing to point out about this box office, though, you notice what's not on there? Stranger
Snow
Things
White.
finale.
What's that?
The Stranger Things finale.
Oh yeah, because they put that in theaters, didn't they?
Yep. It
Yeah.
should have been in second place because it made about 26 million, I believe.
I wonder why.
Well, so from what I understand, they sold the tickets for this in a very odd way. Instead of actually buying a ticket to it, in a lot of theaters, you had to buy a meal, like a snack voucher, and the snack voucher came with the showing of the film, because apparently something in the contracts, if they had just sold it like a normal thing, they would have had to pay out all of the actors some kind of percentage of it. So apparently, from what I understand, the theaters are going to keep 100% of what was made for this. I'm still kind of looking into that, but
Sneaky.
Leave it to Netflix. Leave it to Netflix.
Oh yeah. Well, leave it to Netflix to kill the entire theatrical industry when that 17-day release window comes to fruition after they buy Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
There's always a way around things. I mean, people don't realize that the super rich don't take a salary. What they do is get stock options, and then they take out a massive loan against the stock options. They pay no tax, and all they do is pay interest on the loan. The interest on the loan is going to be what, 6-7%, as opposed to 40% tax.
Huh, that's ingenious.
Yes, it's simple. It's simple, and that's what the rich people do. They just take a loan out against their stock.
So that's what it's like to be Paul Shadow.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's a simple loophole, and it's brilliant.
Yeah,
Gaming
absolutely. So anyone who is is willing to pay for advice on how to manage their finances, you have Chateau Executive right there.
And don't forget
But,
to start your own LLC.
That's pretty clever right there. But let's move on with the box office here, because I have to say
I think there's some surprising stuff here.
the biggest surprise to me is the lack of drop. That some things are holding incredibly well here from last weekend, because of course when you have like Zootopia, which dropped only 4%. Now, granted, it's been in theaters for so long that the week-to-week drops should be smaller and smaller at this point. But still, it's in the number 2 spot, and it dropped only 4%. That's pretty decent.
Yeah, Andre, did you see that in China, Zootopia rallied, and over the New Year's holiday actually took the number 1 spot from Avatar in China?
Wow.
Yeah.
I think what we have here also is Timothée Chalamet is the first legitimate star
Yeah.
that we've
100%.
had in years.
Yeah, 100%.
This is the thing that Tom was arguing to give him props as late as last week, that Timothy Chalamet is the closest thing we have gotten to a new superstar,
Yep.
as defined by is capable of opening a
Correct.
movie and selling tickets.
That's
Because
correct.
that is the correct definition. Like, for instance, The Rock, he's famous, but he doesn't sell tickets. He can't open
Right.
a movie.
Brad Pitt,
Chalamet can open a movie.
Brad Pitt has not made a lot of studios very much money.
No,
That's right.
he hasn't. Very
Uh,
famous,
I-
but,
well,
yeah.
You know what I'm looking right here at the Housemaid. Sydney Sweeney finally has a hit on her hands.
This is
Yeah.
this, and I was going to
Certainly
mention
so.
that too. Housemaid, if you take a look at the chart, really has had fantastic word of mouth.
Yeah.
So good that the co-star wasn't able to ruin it with her stupid work. So yeah, this is a win for Sweeney. Chris, you were about to say.
Well, I was gonna make the same comment, and it, you know, Paul Feige. It's sort of a dark comedy of sorts. Plus, it's got, you know, some Sweeney.
Both women are very attractive. You can't.
Yeah, that's right. And there's nude scenes. So I mean, anybody that's sort of been pining for Sweeney, this might be the movie for them to go see. And from what I understand, it's gotten pretty good reviews. So, and there's a pent up
The movie's gotten good reviews, or the nude scenes have gotten good
both,
reviews?
and the book. So this is a franchise that Sweeney kind of went after, and there's a lot of fans of the book series. So there's more than one of these. So who knows? This could turn
And
into something.
reviewers who saw it, I haven't seen it, have said that the theaters are filled with mostly women, and they're really enjoying it.
Yeah,
So this, in many ways, Housemaid is closer to Barbie.
you may be right.
It's
Yeah.
what I've
And
been
it's
saying.
also, yeah, sorry, carry on.
It's what I've been saying for forever, is when you make a franchise that women want to see and make it for them, they will go see it.
Well-
try to hand them a male franchise and they don't care.
Well, the point is, I think it's an audience. It's laser focused to an audience, and it apparently cost only 35 mil. So
Yes.
this is like the blueprint for hitting singles and doubles, as Jeffrey Katzenberg said. Stop trying to hit home runs, hit singles and doubles. This is an absolutely, and same with Marty Supreme, which is a weird movie.
Yeah.
It's another single and double.
Yeah, just to finish on The Housemaid, I agree completely with what you are saying. This is a movie that is for women. Women love it. You didn't need to commandeer a franchise that has built-in male appeal and try to forcefully make it female. This was female from the ground up. It is, from what I understand, very good adaptation of the source material. Everyone loves it. Ka-ching, it's a huge hit. And for Paul Feig, the recurring punching bag here at Midnight's Edge, he's the perfect director for it. This is just the kind of movie that he should be making to move on a little bit from his earlier shtick. He never should have done Ghostbusters, but this is the kind of movie that he should make. This only goes to show how important it is to pair the right kind of filmmaker with the right kind of project, so that the sensibilities match what is needed. And here, he was a perfect match for what the project needed.
Let me just talk about Ghostbusters for 2016 for one moment.
Absolutely.
I just recently found out that it was meant as a parody of Ghostbusters.
You finally saw our videos then.
No, this is before that. But it didn't dawn on me. And if I reprocess the movie through that lens, I get it, but because they didn't make it obvious and they didn't put in the right signals to tell us that it was a parody, because Bridesmaid was basically a parody of Hangover.
Yeah, this is the point that I've been making, of course.
And I didn't notice that.
It's for other things as well, like all kinds of like female bachelorette stuff like that. It's like he does gender bent parodies. That's what he does.
Yeah, but it could have worked. I think Ghostbusters could have worked that way if it had been properly written that way. I didn't get that. I you know what? Yes, a female version of Ghostbusters where they send up guy stuff. They just didn't do it well enough.
That's right. And then they didn't handle it well enough.
No, but
And
they
it was-
kept talking about it as a Ghostbusters movie, which
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
shouldn't have.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
what it
anyway,
needed
you know,
to
that
be.
happens. The executives just start getting nervous. Hey, we need to get Bill Murray in here somewhere. We
Right.
got, you know.
Yeah.
As going back to the housemaid just briefly.
Yeah, let's leave Ghostbusters. Sorry.
This has got. There's going to be a sequel. Siegfried said something in Variety
Yeah, she
yesterday
did.
that there's definitely going to be a sequel.
Mhm.
And the housemaid, though, do you guys know anything about the?
Nope.
It's
Well,
very
if you
women's
look at
empowerment.
this panel,
Well-
we are very clearly not the target
No, I know.
audience.
But there's a
I,
twist.
well, I just saw Paulie in the was in the chat from Latino Slant, and he was saying it was terrible. He just saw it.
Ah,
It's got a 92% rating with audiences and a 73% rating with Rotten Tomato critics. I don't know what Paulie thinks, but you know, he doesn't. We don't always agree. I haven't seen the movie. I couldn't speak of it. It's getting
Well,
a
again,
sequel.
here's I'm not surprised that he does that. I think that none of us have seen it. None of us are familiar with the
Right.
source material, and probably my hunch is if we saw the movie, we might enjoy the nude scenes, but beyond that, probably wouldn't be too into anything else
Yeah,
because it wasn't made for us.
maybe. Right.
And it's fine. It doesn't have to be. This is the problem with Hollywood chasing 4-quadrant movies
Yeah.
and trying to make it so everyone
Yeah.
likes it. No, when everyone likes it, no one likes it. You make a movie for the women and for the ladies, and it's fine. This is exactly what you do. And you adjust the budget accordingly. That's how you're supposed to do it. Same thing with like John Wick and stuff like that, or anything with Jason Statham. They don't need to do anything to win over females. You have Jason Statham taking off his shirt. For the women who are so inclined, that's all of the female appeal that you'll ever need. The rest, you just make it for the target audience, keep the budget in check, and it's perfect. This is how you do it.
I think
My applause.
You're
Happy
right,
for this.
Andre. You're right. But in general, to be fair, women will cross over into men's entertainment
Yes.
more than men will cross over into women's, right? You won't see any men in a knitting club, but you might see women at the shooting range. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
So
yeah,
women-
we're not rushing out to Sandra Bullock movies.
Well,
Right.
The reason why Marvel developed a female audience was because women were dragged along with their boyfriends and their husbands to go see it, and they were entertaining enough movies
Sure.
that they were able to enjoy it, and they got some eye candy in there too with the Chris's.
Yeah.
So I mean, women can enjoy male-dominated things, but then once you shift it to start catering it exclusively to the women, well, now the men don't care about it anymore. Now the women didn't care in the first place. They
Well,
just
the-
thought it was entertaining enough.
The other problem is that when the Marvel movies actually did attract women, they interpreted it the wrong way. And I will use a reference by, I think it's Alan Swillen. I can't remember, the guy who produced Top Gear, said that the BBC came to him and Jeremy Clarkson. I know Top Gear is one of the most popular shows in the history of the world. And they said, by the way, your show is attracting a lot of Black and Asians. So we think we'll expand the show by maybe replacing James May or one of the other two guys with a Black or Asian person. And Jeremy Clarkson said, the reason the show is attracting Blacks and Asians is because there's 3 white guys doing the show. Like, it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Why would you change it? Because you're looking at the demographics of the people who are watching it, and you think you're going to get more of them? No, we've got a lot of them because the show is what the show is. And I think Disney took a lot of incorrect interpretation from the popularity of the Marvel movies and said, wow, boy, a lot of women like this. You know what it needs? More women.
Yeah.
Women were
You
not
also have
watching
the-
it. Women were not watching it for women. If there's one
No.
thing that women hate, it's women.
Yeah. No,
Well, someone who can talk with this with some level of authority, because it's a dude who went to. Sorry, I'm not going to say dude. That's insulting. It's a proper hombre who went to see Ladies Entertainment and apparently didn't like it. Welcome, Mr. Pauly of
He's
Latino
in.
Black fame. How's it going?
hello. Hola.
Happy New Year. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Feliz Nuevos Años.
Prospero año. Prospero año. What's going on? Look at this box office. You guys
Yeah.
did
We haven't even gotten to Anaconda yet.
No.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that.
Did
But
they- yeah, what's up?
if you have multiple mics in front of you, you're coming through the wrong one because you're a little bit crackly right now.
Oh, okay. That's my iPod, AirPod. All right, let me switch. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Right on. I think one of the other problems with Hollywood is that there is a very vocal segment of the decision makers and just the culture there that see media representation as a cultural tool for equity and prejudice reduction. So they want to increase more LGBTQ representation, or they want to have, just DEI altogether, looking at media as some sort of tool for normalization or equity, and trying to repair historical lack of equity. And
I don't know if
I can't stand it because the push is for it to go another way. Whereas you were just talking about Jeremy Clarkson's Farm, fantastic show. I don't know if you watched it. I don't know that there's any LGBTQ representation on there. Me not being gay, I don't miss it. I would wonder if gay people,
admittedly,
yeah. Well, and I'm wondering, do gay people watch it and say to themselves, "Where is the gay representation?" I don't know. I mean, is it even needed? I don't know the sexuality of every person on the show.
Well,
That's not what it's about.
One of my favorite shows that I watch with my wife and my daughter is Project Runway. It doesn't get much more gay than that. What does that say about me? I don't know. I just really enjoy the show.
It's entertaining.
It's totally. It's thoroughly entertaining. And I think, there's that one quote from one of the HR heads at Disney who flat out said her goal was to put as many gay people in productions as possible. Well, what metric is she basing that on? That's like the dumbest thing someone could say. So that's not a balance. That's not. That's just.
It's like, when is
activism.
enough?
That's activism. It's war.
When are you happy and say, okay, we're good. We got them all. We've got as much representation.
Exactly, never. Because this, for instance, you have GLAAD, for instance. You have GLAAD, which put like their annual media report on how much representation you have there, and it's always complaining that this year it has grown with 10%, 20%, but it's still not enough. It's never ever enough.
Well, this year they're freaking out because most of the TV shows that involve LGBT folks
now it's
all canceled.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And Paulie, now we can hear you.
Hey, Paulie.
Yeah.
Let's start all over again. Apologize, guys. Happy New Year. Prospero año. Felicidad.
Well, let's rather continue from the house.
Yeah.
Holvana Uborka.
Yeah. Let's get all the ethnics out of the way.
Yeah.
What's up? What are we praising and complaining about?
Well, we need your insights on Housemaid.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
you didn't complaining about anything really. Rather, we're celebrating that the housemaid is actually doing the right thing.
We're happy
because it's a movie for women that's budgeted as a movie for women, and it's doing well.
It is doing really well, and it's got it. The Christmas corridor has been very kind to this film, and that's what we were saying weeks ago. It's like Christmas corridor for the win. Let's talk the first week of January and see who are the winners and losers, because everyone's schedules from Thanksgiving till now has just been, off. So moving, going habits, all that, et cetera. And it looks like Housemaid, Lionsgate really did great these last couple of weeks. Good for the film, good for Sydney. And it's just good trash, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, guys. And me and Romy were watching it, and she hated it even more. So
wow.
Yeah. Romy likes she's the type of woman that loves a good, the like the girl on the train, you know, those good mystery thrillers with a little bit of trashiness. But this was just kind of like stupid.
Okay.
And
Wow, interesting. Wasn't good trash.
Granted, we what was I gonna say? The first hour, I don't think there was Chi-Chi's until the second hour, which is when we actually turned it off.
Oh, that's well. Of course, they have to wait that long to make sure that you have to stay until it's too late to get a refund.
Well, like that first hour is just like, oh my God, this is, you know,
Set up.
well, it just wasn't. Yeah, but it wasn't. I mean, the setup that could have been done in 5 minutes, Chato.
Hmm.
And I mean, it wasn't incredibly like multi-layered and whoa, you know. But yeah, listen, I could see why it's a hit. You know, it's good. It's good trashy fun for some
Yeah.
people. But yeah, way
Indeed.
too long. I mean, it's over 2 hours, that movie.
Wow.
Crazy.
Doesn't need to be.
No.
Well, evidently it worked because it's working like hell, and you didn't like it. Romy didn't like it, of course, because she has taste. We know this, but the majority of female audience swallowed it up exactly as it was. So it must have done something right.
Hey, you know, there's a diversity of stories here in this top 10 for the Christmas quarter. Look at the diversity of all these movies, and I'm not talking about Chato's favorite, you know, gayversity. I'm just
More gay, Paulie.
More gay. How gay is gay? The diversity of stories in this is, you know, pretty amazing. Everything from musicals to anime to horror.
Religious films. David is still hanging in there.
David had a bigger budget, but it's still doing good.
Yeah.
And Marty Supreme, man.
Yeah.
You know, Marty Supreme. You know,
Timothy Chalamet for the win.
Yeah, look at A24 do good.
Well, Chalamet is now like also proven that he really does a diversity of stories.
Yep.
Wonka, Bob Dylan, the Dune movies, even the younger ones. He did a couple of like, artsy movies, and now with Marty Supreme. So yeah, I've been a Chalamet fan since Wonka. Before I was like, who is this pipsqueak? But hats off to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are.
I want to take a moment to talk about Anaconda before we round out the box office here, because of all the things here, to me, this is the most pleasant surprise. As you remember, or a long time, well, regular watchers will remember, I saw Anaconda the day it came out. I loved it. I had an absolute blast with it. I'm not a huge fan of the original or anything. This is how you do like a meta sequel reboot. It's brilliant. Even Mike agrees with me, who sent a member chat saying the Anaconda was awesome. I watched it with my 12-year-old and we had a total blast. And I think because we saw it in the theater made it way better than if we had seen it on a crappy streaming. We laughed for almost 2 hours. Yeah, how fun was that pig scene? Pig was awesome. I couldn't agree with this more. And I'm very happy to see that it only dropped 30% since last weekend. And that's a pretty decent hold right there. To me, that signals very good word of mouth. So very happy for Sony, and Jack Black deserves this win because this was a very fun movie, I have to say.
Yeah, in regards to Anaconda, we gave it a high review. It was a surprisingly kind of layered comedy within a comedy, you know.
Yeah.
Poking fun at what they were doing. That's cool. That's a good take.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so. Very cool.
I think it got a little lost in that it came out Christmas Day. That does happen, but it's like rebounding, if that makes sense. It's finding its audience. A word has gotten out. It's like, oh no, this is actually really funny.
It's like my date that I saw the movie with was like, are we really going to see that? I'm not in the mood for this gore horror thing. I hated the original. Came out on the other end loving it.
See, this is a good sign. This is
Yeah.
word of mouth.
Yes,
We're
that is word
suddenly
of mouth right there.
this is the average, and then there it's just taking off. This is
Yeah.
on a very good trajectory.
Yes.
For sure.
And I believe that worldwide, I think if it hasn't outgrossed what the original did, it's well on its way. Give it a few more weeks. This is going to be bigger than the original movie was, even adjusted for ticket sales.
This
So,
looks very much like a much more normal slate of movies in a theater. As Paulie said, look at the variety that we
Yeah.
have here. This looks old-timey.
And that's actually a very good sign, because now you don't have quite that. Of course, you still have Avatar and Zootopia and the first two positions right there. But I agree, like this is a good sign for Hollywood, just this level of variety, and also outside of the top two, the variety in budgets. And these aren't like very expensive movies, but these are movies that are able to win over an audience. Here you have look, you have The Housemaid, Marty Supreme, and Anaconda. That's 3 hits back to back right there.
And they all made over 10 million this past weekend. I mean, that's also a good sign when you have
Yeah.
multiple movies that have made over 10 million bucks for the weekend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's not forget that, but in between 1 and 2, the Stranger Things finale should be in there because it made like
Exactly.
20 something million.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but you know,
theaters sold it-
Netflix,
Yeah, I know.
they're not gonna.
Yeah.
They're not. Look what they did with K-pop.
Well,
Yeah.
of course, but like it just
I'm-
means like in terms of the
everything
actual box office, where if this was an actual top 10 rather than we're ignoring that for this and this bullshit reason.
For
you have
theaters,
that in there as well.
it was even sweeter than it looks.
Yeah. It
Well,
doesn't
and-
look
and,
super
and in
sweet.
reference to K-pop, Sony did not have a lot of confidence in it and just sold it off to Netflix. No one realized what a hit they had on their hands there.
You know, that's one thing we don't talk about too, which is really great that Marvin brought it up, is that a lot of these numbers are dependent on the film studios giving them. That means they pay specialists, whatever you call it, to get the numbers, crunch them down, get them right, and then they spit them out. So some of these studios, they can't afford it. They definitely can't afford maybe to do it right away, and it comes out maybe later in the week, 2 weeks down the line. So there's even that to think about, is that some of these films, which is why you see like the ones below the 11, they're just it's you're depending on these smaller studios to bring in the numbers. So there's not like one person that delivers all the numbers to Box Office Pro. These are the different studios, Marvin, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. We're going to do a couple of well, actually, before we do that, we have one story here, because this
we done
I
with
think
this?
should be.
I want to say,
we're-
what about this Song Sung Blue? That's kind of turned out to be a disaster, hasn't it?
Has it?
Has it? I mean, it's in the top
It hasn't
10.
earned it. I think it just now hit its production budget, so it's grossed what it cost to make. It cost 31.
I think sometimes when you're going into Christmas Corridor, you think that there's certain films that are going to hit the heart, hit with audiences. Like, oh man, this,
Yeah.
and I think that was one of these. That's why I don't think it didn't capture the audiences, but it's capturing the crowd.
Well,
like people are going to see the movie.
Look at
Not
this.
enough. I just don't think enough. And I also think that I think this thing comes out on POV or video on the VOD in 10 days or something. I mean,
That's quite the jump there.
it's a short window. That's a Netflix window right there.
Yeah, and also on the note of Netflix windows, this is something that we have a story about, or more specifically, that is something that you have a story about over at Bleeding Pool.
Oh,
Why don't you tell us a little bit
Fancy.
about that before we move on here? Here we have the story written by Jameson Ashley, published today. Sources: Netflix lied about saving theaters. Wow, who could have seen that coming? Take us through this,
I
Chris.
think most people probably remember sort of what the concerns have been when it was finally revealed that Netflix had made a winning bid, I guess, for Warner Brothers about the very short shrift that cinemas were going to get, because Netflix is a streaming company. That's what they're known as, a streaming company, not a movie studio. And, you know, typically you have a theatrical window range from between at least 30 days up to 45 days. And of course, historically, it's been much longer than that before a movie made it to home video. But now there's a report that's out, and this is Deadline sourced this. So they're citing people claiming that Netflix's plan is to set 17-day theatrical windows. So that's basically 3 weekends. Your first weekend and then 2 more weekends, and then it's on Netflix. You know, even though Sarandos has said that they were going to protect cinemas and they were going to honor, you know, sort of what's been coming before it, and committed to releasing movies exactly the way they would release, you know, that other studios are releasing them today. They care about the theatrical business. I think he's just paying lip service. And I never believed it. You know, I know others didn't either. And I wish we could get these sources on the record. But you know, Sarandos in the past has called the theatrical experience an outmoded idea. So I'm not sure what people think Netflix is up to. But this does not bode well for Warner Brothers being bought by Netflix.
He has spoken about the theatrical model with some level of contempt in the past. So, yeah.
I did a video about this on the M4 Empire over the weekend, and what I said was, imagine you have a Batman movie coming out that's going to make $250 million in its first week worldwide. Could be on the trajectory for a $1 billion box office, but you're going to pull it after 17 days. So maybe you've made what, 350 on this movie instead of $1 billion, and they're not going to care. And these movie theaters that would have brought in all that money are going to crumble, because now a major studio is pulling all of its blockbusters and all of its mid-size horror movies that had such amazing success this past year that helped keep theaters above water as well. So this would be the death blow to movie theaters. And look, there's going to be a lot of people they're going to hoe it. Like Bob Iger will be like, we have to protect the cinematic experience. Within 5 years, they'd be doing it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Netflix will just lead the way.
Yep.
Once they set the standard, that will be the new standard. And the problem is, I don't see it going any other way. I don't think Netflix has any reason. I mean, honestly, though, you just said it. You just spelled out a very good analogy there, Marvin. Why would you leave money on the table? Why would you pull a movie out of theaters while it's on an upward trajectory, or at least leveled off, right? I mean, maybe when it's sinking, then you decide, okay, because you're not having to manufacture DVD. You're not making any physical media. So it's not like you need to go, okay, we need to start putting critic quotes on the back, design the cover. We need to figure out our extras and all that. You already know what you're going to do with it. You're going to put it on Netflix with the wallpaper and the movie poster.
Relatively cheap.
Yeah.
So 17 days. I mean, AMC has gone on record saying that the bare minimum for a film to turn a profit at a movie theater is a 45-day window. That's the minimum that they want, is 45 days. If they're going to do 17 days, Maron, this is going to be rough.
But I think that 45-day window is just really like obsolete now at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use your example of Batman.
Please.
And then compare it to the other movie that Chris loves so much, with his song Neil Diamond Blue.
I love it so much.
That makes sense. A 17-day for the Diamond movie. There's no way in hell, Marvin, that that the executives or anyone would, working on Batman would allow that to happen.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
You'd hope, but if the head of Netflix, if
I do
Ted
hope. I
Sarandos,
do hope, but
yeah.
you know, you're right. I do. But that's bad. That is bad business.
It's
it'd be
just foolish.
terrible business.
It's
But
foolish.
That's bad business.
they've left. How much money did they leave on the table with K-pop? How much money did they leave?
But that's an unknown. That was a known variable.
Mhm.
Batman is a known variable. Absolutely.
Right.
You know, so you're right. I do hope. It's a weird thing because what Netflix has done also too in the last 20, 30 years is changed everyone's movie going watching behaviors.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about, you know, cultural, you know, avatar, non-cultural impact. Netflix for the win.
But I mean, how much more money do you think Frankenstein could have made in theaters had they left it in there for a longer period?
Well,
of time?
I think we're missing a point here, and we're missing important data, and that is Netflix must know the financial benefit to pulling a movie early. Like
Surely.
if there was, like, we're missing a piece in this puzzle. Someone needs to be able to find out why Netflix would do it and why they believe it is more profitable, or whatever term they want to use, because I don't understand the finances of a company like Netflix, because, you know, in many ways, the more stuff that they stream, the more it costs them from a server perspective and
Right.
bandwidth perspective. The best model for Netflix is everyone pay their monthly fee and nobody stream anything.
Mhm.
That's actually,
Yeah.
you know, that's their ideal business model. So there is some secret sauce going on here that we don't know. And if Chris and his minions can figure it out,
Yeah.
there must be greater value in getting it on Netflix sooner. And I don't know what that is.
I just demand that Chris wears a Neil Diamond wig while he's on the investigation.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
I like Neil Diamond, but I haven't seen this movie. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you
Whoa,
guys.
wait a minute. You haven't seen the movie, and you're complaining why it didn't? People aren't seeing the movie.
I like
That's
Neil
why.
Diamond. That's all.
No,
That's-
it's a
and
good
I like
point.
Hugh
It's a good
Jackman.
point. I'm not giving you shit. I'm just saying I'm the same way.
Right.
Right?
I think
That
you know,
movie, I
and,
just
and there's
would rather
also
wait till it's
well, there's a
streaming.
new controversy about, you know, the son of the guy that Hugh Jackman plays is suing the production company now for because he
Oh,
was
that's
paid-
Hollywood. He
Yeah,
just wants money.
Maybe so, but even the sister who's not suing is sort of siding. Anyhow, not to get into that, but you're right, Paul. I think that's what needs to be explained. That's what needs to be understood. And frankly, I've found it difficult to understand the streaming model of business in a way that makes sense to me, because if they drop certain movies out of their content, do they see a correlation with subscriber numbers going down just because they lost a little bit of their content, or they increased a little bit of their content? They must have something that correlates all these decisions they're making, because they've got the money to have that kind of an algorithm. They've got it. And to move it to a 17-day window, you know, to Marvin's point, saying what the head of AMC says, 45 days. Well, that's like an actor saying, you know, they want more work, right? I mean, AMC obviously wants the movies to stay in. I'm surprised they didn't say 60 days, right?
But we have a bigger problem on a long-term basis, is that putting if everything's on Netflix, then we're not going to develop the Timothy Chalamets. We're just going to have Ted Danson's.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And even the guy in who I love dearly in Mad Men, who's the lead guy in that? John Hamm. He's another TV star.
Yeah.
He's not a movie star.
No, you're right.
I'm not going to go see him. He's not going to open a movie. If they don't find a way to grow that side of show business, which is the movie star side, it's not going to be good in the long run.
Well, you know what? You know who oh, sorry.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just saying, you know who is, I think, rubbing their hands together, waiting for something like this to happen? The piracy sites.
Yeah.
The piracy sites are going to have a field day with this. A high quality version of a blockbuster film 17 days after release. They're going to, brother, they're going to go insane.
Oh, they've been doing that for ages. We spoke about this when Nosferatu, the remake, came out last year. It also had like a ridiculously short window, like 19 days or something like
Wow.
that, from release in theaters till you could get it on the high seas in 4K.
And I don't understand that. As you guys know, I do a little bit of side hustling with crowdfunding, some published.
I already donated this week.
What's that?
I already donated.
Thank you. But we have had a campaign right now going since Halloween. And suddenly we had a massive influx between January 2nd and yesterday of backers that just came in that, may have just heard about it. So if the marketing team for these movies isn't doing a good job, there's going to be a segment, or there's bound to be a segment of people that are saying, oh, wow, I hadn't heard of this movie. I didn't know this thing was coming. Right. So if you're going to count on everything being perfectly marketed, and then you're going to do 17 days, I don't know. I hope Deadline sources are wrong. I'll say that about this, but this is up above the fold over at Bleeding Fool for people to take a look.
Yeah, indeed. Well, with that, we are going to move on to the next story here, and then we have a couple of super chats that I know you've been waiting for. But until we get to those, we have this from That Park Place, namely the Duffer Brothers regret answering Stranger Things finale questions. Because they were doing this massive media tour. And now they regret doing that because apparently there were some questions, some answers, some phrasings that kind of like they didn't enjoy all that much. Now, I could read out from this article, but seeing as it's written by one Marvin Montanaro, who we happen to have right here, Marvin, take us through this. What's going on?
So Gary from Nerdrotic had an amazing meme that he put out where it was Benioff and Weiss from Game of Thrones being like, hey, Duffers, trust us, stop talking. Because everything that these guys have said since the finale had to try and justify what they did in the finale has just incensed more people. When the people are like, well, why were there no demogorgons or demodogs or demobats?
I said
around there, they were like, oh, well, Vecna never imagined in a million years that they would actually try this. He thought he was completely safe. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what about when he realized that they weren't? It's a hive mind. You've periodically stated that if somebody so much as brushes one of those tentacles, Vecna knows that they're there. So there were so many plot holes, and they were trying to fill them all in. And a lot of the things that they were saying was, oh, I don't know. It's for you to figure out. And people don't want that. So Matt Duffer said, well, we should never. I don't even know why we were doing interviews. I was sick. I was getting over the flu, guys. Cut us some slack. And I'm like, no, dude, this was the biggest TV event of the last decade. Probably the biggest TV event since like the finale of like Seinfeld or Cheers or one of those huge shows like this. This was massive. People are going to want to hear from you, and you're not only going to get praise for it. They are trying to justify this finale, and it is not going well. A lot like Benioff and Weiss did after Game of Thrones. And you got to think that Paramount is watching what's happening right now with these guys' names being dragged into mud, and probably considering like, we just signed these guys to a big money deal. Much like, Netflix had signed Benioff and Weiss. Lucasfilm had signed Benioff and Weiss to make a series of Star Wars films, dropped them like a bad habit after Game of Thrones came out. So when something is getting as much flack as the Stranger Things finale, and that's not to say everyone hates it, there's quite a lot of people that like it, and that is 100% legitimate. You run into this situation where now the studios that have like lined up everybody, lined up these creators for their next big projects, are second guessing, like, oh man, their names are not really that popular right now. And what you're going for is name value. What you're going for with these projects is from the creators of Stranger Things. So yeah, they're not doing themselves any favors out there. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no, because we saw this already last week when you had Variety reframing their words as if they were attacking the audience when they
Yes,
weren't.
and they were not doing that. I will go to the bat for the Duffers on that. 110%. They were not attacking the audience. Variety just made it seem like they were. But I mean, things like when people are like, "Well, did 11, live or die?" And they're like, "Well, whether she lived or died, she's gonna live on in their hearts." And everyone's like, "Stop it! Like, commit to your finale." Did your main character live or die? This is not choose your own adventure. That's cowardice.
Yeah, indeed. Any thoughts on this before we move on?
On the show?
No, on the story.
Oh no, I don't care.
Shadow, do you agree though that it was cowardly to not commit to the fate of these characters?
I think it was cowardly to not kill half of them.
Yeah.
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 There was no feeling of dread at all, and
Plot armor.
And at the very end, the only purpose of the military was to put up those spikes so the cars would stop at the entrance so they could watch what's her name fade away into the distance.
Or did she?
Or did she? She was clearly a hologram. Yeah, they just couldn't kill people off. It was tiresome and way too big a cast, and we went through all we all know all of its failings, but you know what, I do give them credit for creating something that I think the vast majority of people who dragged themselves through the entire 5 years we're going to enjoy. It was harmless fun.
One of the things that I've been hearing, and I got to look more into it, but it's just like a rumor that I heard, was that one of their ex-wives was like integral in writing all the other seasons, but then they got divorced.
Wonderful. How many are there?
One of the Duffers brothers, ex-wives.
Okay.
Ex-wife.
I thought you meant like multiple ex-wives, but yeah.
Hey, it's Hollywood, baby. But
true.
the I had heard that like that might have been part of the reason why the writing felt so different, is that there was a key creative voice missing. But I don't know if I believe that. That might just be people, I don't have anything confirmed on that.
I don't know if it necessarily the writing changed. It was more the endless amount of time they had to fill up. And the fact that the seasons 2 through 5 were a very different show from season 1.
Yes.
They were two completely different experiences. So that it's not like the Duffer Brothers are not very creative individuals who know how to direct. That's goes without saying. Now we have to see what their upcoming projects are going to be. Look what happened to the Wachowskis after Matrix. We went, holy crap, these guys are Hollywood hacks. They basically fooled us. You can go to hell.
Benioff and Weiss from Game of Thrones. Same thing happened to them.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, listen, man. I mean,
go ahead, Paulie.
I can just add into that. When you create something that's such a huge hit, man, it's very rare that you can meet it or even top it with your next movies.
Oh
next
yeah.
game.
Oh yeah.
It just really does not happen. And some
You're
of these
right.
creators, God bless them, man, they crack. Then they'll just go do something totally opposite. I mean, Spielberg had his moment. 1940, was it 1941?
Yeah.
1940. Yeah, 1941. Yeah.
It was looking back now, it got some laughs. There's some laughs in there, but this was coming up after Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'm just saying. I have never seen the what's it called, the Stranger Things. So I'm an old man on this one, but yeah, I mean, it was a global event, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Chad, I don't know if you could, because before I was a YouTuber and working for the website and stuff like that, I was a ghostwriter. I wrote over 30 novels. So Chad, between you and I, with our experiences, would you agree with me? It is the hardest thing when you're writing a narrative to end it well.
Yeah.
The ending is just but it's also the most important thing.
To be quite frank, I don't generally start anything without knowing what the ending is.
As you should. But two things that I want to point out that I think ended perfectly, that stuck the landing incredibly: Cobra Kai, and I just watched the ending of My Hero Academia, and it was perfection. So
Mm.
it is possible to end things well. It's just you have to have that in front of mind when you start working,
There's-
so you know what you're building toward.
Well, I write too, Marvin. And there's
Love it.
there's
Love
different methods. A lot of writers will actually write the last scene first,
Right.
the ending first, and like, how am I going to get there? I think it's all great, the creative process. So it just sounds like they didn't nail the landing, stick the landing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think Paulie, you're really onto something about this thing. Exploded, it got huge, and the Duffer brothers. How can you avoid starting to believe your own hype, or how can you avoid listening to the shippers? I mean, there's so many shipper campaigns. Byler, I understand, was one, which was Will and Mike, and they already kind of gave into, or it looked like they gave into the shippers for a previous season. So you get all this feedback from, of course, they're surrounded by sycophants, right? And I think you probably start to get lost with sort of where you were headed with this show, where it needed to go. You might start listening to people that have their own ideas or things you might have forgotten. And as Marvin pointed out, where are these Demogorgons or whatever for this season, or it didn't work the way before. And it's almost like, should they have used a workshop and had a test audience come in to watch the whole season and give them feedback and then go back and reshoot stuff and fix stuff? I mean, that's obviously untenable. They can't do that. But it just seems like nowadays so many shows sort of lose their way because they really didn't know exactly where they were going, to your point, Paul and Paulie. They don't know where they're going to end up. They don't know really how they're going to stick the landing. And they've got so many people, I guess, they're trying to please when they go through it. And that's really the weaknesses of some of these projects.
But no one's ever happy.
Yeah,
with
that's right.
The ending of The Sopranos, the ending of Mad Men.
Right.
These are two of the greatest TV shows the last 30 years, and people hated the finales. That just happens. No one's ever going to be true, so, but I guess there's that. And then there's, I guess, what you guys were saying. You've saying, okay, so you saw Marvin, all you guys have seen Sopranos, Mad Men, and now Stranger Things finales.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do they compare in regards to that?
I mean, the Sopranos finale is. It was one of those things that I hated when I first saw it, and then over the years, as I examined it more, I started to like it more. But I think for a casual viewer, it was not a good ending at all. Like, you really have to immerse yourself. And the thing was, like, right now the Duffers are going out there and they are, overanalyzing every second of this to try to justify it. David Chase did not do that with The Sopranos.
Can I just jump in with,
Please.
as a TV writer, all you're trying to do is get the first goddamn show on the air.
Right.
If you're talking about long form, you're not thinking about the ending at all. Okay, at all. You're just trying to get your pilot going. And then what happens with TV is that you find surprises along the way that changes the show fundamentally based on audience reaction, the writers that you've got. So the show evolves over time, and then you switch over to, I hope they just pick me up for the next season.
Mm-hmm.
That becomes the next modus operandi.
Right.
Then comes to, we have no idea when they're going to cancel us. So you're never prepared for any of this stuff.
Going, yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to give these guys a break, because I heard from the Duffer Brothers, they never expected to go past three seasons. And they were actually kind of, oh, shit, they want us to do more. They didn't want to do more. I mean, want is a relative term. I mean, you want the cash. So they had to make up shit. And the show really feels like that. I mean, the world that they created is not complete. There's no rules. Stuff happens as it needs to happen. Oh no, it's a wormhole, and it's not in his head, or it's not made by the Russians. What the fuck happened? Where'd the Russians go?
But
gone.
that's an interesting thing, Paul, because the first season you had the Demogorgon, and then you had the Mind Flayer, then you had the Mind Flayer in season 3 as a physical threat.
Right.
And then in season 4, all of a sudden they're like, no, it was a human threat the entire time.
But then it
in
was
Vecna,
yeah.
and that was a retcon,
Right.
Which I hate that so much.
No, that and it turned into a boss fight out of a
it turned into a
Japanese
final
video
boss fight.
game.
Yeah, it turned into a
was-
kaiju fight.
Yeah, it was a kaiju fight, and it was stupid. And you actually had people poking at its belly, letting pustules of ooze fall on you. Like, really? That's going to be the first.
And it
thing-
managed to kill 0 of them.
0 people. The pustules clearly did not have the right volume of acid to burn through anyone. So
but-
yeah, we can complain about all of that, but I'm just going back, and I would say that I trust the Duffer Brothers because I know what series writing is like, and it's really hard to finish things off, especially when the studio does not give you enough direction to know how much time you have to.
That's good
to sort
context.
it
It's like my experience with like writing books and things like that. Like it goes as long as I want it to go. It's so
As a
that-
writer, as opposed to Paulie, like as a real writer, right?
I'm
Yeah.
such a
Anyway.
real writer.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
Someone's
I'm
asking for
going
my
to-
Hollywood credentials in the chat. I'm like, oh, don't be salty, bitch.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let all you writers sort this out in the back
Okay,
room.
but
Because
that-
we're going to
yeah.
move on with a couple
Move on.
of super chats here. Bass player says on this very topic, I despise the ending of Mad Men. Looking back, it makes sense for Don, but I still don't like it.
Well,
I've actually
Dawn
never
was
watched
a
Mad Men.
fake. Dawn, I
Yeah.
didn't see the ending of it. I'm assuming that it came out that his fakery finally came to the forefront. The fact that he wasn't who he was. Is that the ending of Mad Men?
Yeah.
But that was leading to the final episodes where he was truly liberated from Don Draper. It
Right.
It was fantastic. And and it's just that comment, that super chat was on point. It made sense for Don. But the thing is that we don't want things to end, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You know,
We don't want to
That's
say
the thing
goodbye.
right there.
we don't want to say
We
goodbye.
want to say goodbye.
Where's my revival for The Shield?
Oh, what a great show.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was an amazing show.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mecha J has been a member for 16 months, saying, how well will it look for Paramount since they just signed a deal with the Duffer Brothers, given the divisive response to the Stranger Things finale? And well, that's kind of like what you, in a
Yeah,
roundabout
Margaret
way,
said
just addressed, wasn't it, you guys?
Mhm.
Yeah.
They obviously have the chops. I will say it's better than the Game of Thrones guys, because the Duffer Brothers, they at least have some level of excuse there, whereas the Game of Thrones guys, they had all the resources world thrown at them, everyone telling them you need to do more, and they wanted to rush it and they botched it just to get to Star Wars. Then they lost Star Wars because they botched it. So how's that for irony?
Speaking of Shield, I think the Shield ended well. Actually, I think it had a great.
It did, but I'd
I'd
love to
Yeah,
see.
sure.
I'd watch a revival, because basically Vic Mackey, it ended with him getting a 3-year sentence. What does he do after that 3-year
Right.
sentence?
Well, yeah, I would watch that.
And its
Yeah.
main creator, Scott Brazil, rest in peace,
Yeah.
is no longer with us. I knew the man, and what a wonderful talent. What a great show.
Yeah, there was.
So
that
some
was an
things are just
amazing
better
show.
left, But I
Breaking
hear
Bad
you,
had a good
Andre.
ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or rather, I would rather see the continued misadventures of Vic Mackey, because that's
Mackey,
kind of
yeah.
like what it would be. And Marksman of 117B wonders, Paul, would Space King pass your green light?
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. It's just complete sheer utter madness. Testosterone on high. It's just such a great parody.
Yeah.
I love it. I really love Space King.
And then we have Batman XCVT, who's been a member for 5 months, saying the government should force Netflix to have a 75-day theater window on all movies for the next 50 years and continue to produce physical media for 40. No,
Physical
more
media
likely,
you
that's
never
what
get.
we would like. I don't think the government
You're
Yeah.
never
cares
getting physical
one
media
iota
again.
about that. Yeah, no. Enjoy your special editions to come, because they're going to be the last ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed, and preserve
Love it,
the one
man.
that you have. And Dark King also said, if the box office in 2026 is the same or worse than 2025, when can we expect the mass cinema extinction event to kick off? 2025 was bad for theaters. I don't think it's going to be one mass death. I think it's going to be a prolonged extinction event taking place over a long period of time, as happens with most extinctions in the wild. It's very seldom that a comet comes and knocks out 95%. Typically, it happens over a few millions of years. You don't tell the difference from a day-to-day basis. I think it's going to be the same thing here. There's going to be a couple of changing names. They're going to close one venue here, one venue there. Some special things are going to continue, but it'll be more conference centers. You're not going to see an extinction as much as you're going to see a gradual change and reduction, is what I think. But yeah, feel free to weigh in on that. Well, there we go.
I'm
No one
fine.
else had anything to say.
The
I
short,
thought you said it well.
I
you
think
said it well.
Yeah,
So,
well, then.
Yeah, I mean, my short answer is that adding on to what Andre said is, and it's just not one villain involved. There's
Yeah.
there's many people that are that are guilty of what's going on. The studios themselves, because there actually were a lot of great films that were released this year, but they didn't know how to freaking market them. How to there's just so many. So that's my I guess I got a little long. That's my short answer, is that a lot of times Hollywood has been just shooting itself in its own foot.
Yeah. And then Jason Webster sent us two, the final one being, today in Hollywood, some of the films and shows lose their way just after being greenlit. Well, yeah, so much for longevity, I guess. And he also said, for another $5, first of the paperweight handing out ceremonies of 2026 has been held. Critics' Choice Awards are irrelevant, as are the Golden Globes and the Oscars. Yeah, but the Golden Globes, that can have some fun show, though. They just need to get back Ricky Gervais for extra fun and momentum. That would be hilarious.
I'm working on coverage of the Critics' Choice Awards right now, mostly the fact that Jimmy Kimmel couldn't even accept an award without going on a Trump rant.
Wow.
And then afterwards said that he likened his being taken off the air for 5 days to a near-death experience.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Wow. Fantastic. And then over on the Rumble side of things, I can't bring it up on screen since Tom isn't here. He'll be back again on Wednesday, but you just have to listen. Thanks so much to Fundo Shijin, who gifted 5 subscriptions over at the Rumble side of things.
Dope.
Thanks so much for that. And also on Rumble, OC Mano says for $5, one of the best show endings I saw was Better Call Saul. He ended where he belonged. Yeah, that was a tremendously good ending.
Breaking Bad had a tremendously good ending.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Vince Gilligan
absolutely.
is very good at endings.
And Newhart.
Well,
Newhart has the best ending ever.
But let's all be happy, because everyone loves happy endings.
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Well, this first season of Pluribus ended really well, like fantastically well.
Yeah,
Last Samurai standing.
Great, fantastic. Last Samurai.
I gotta finish that.
Absolutely.
I got distracted.
I mean, who doesn't want to watch next season of Last Samurai after that ending?
Last Samurai Standing, guys. Again, if you haven't seen it, incredible television on Netflix right now.
I'm loving it, and you know what? It managed to because usually I could be like, oh, this guy's gonna be this guy's gonna be the bad guy. They completely subverted everything that I thought. Every trope that it kind of introduced, it did not go for. So I was happy about that.
Yeah. And then Drew Tipton says, is this the year we finally get the Batman 2 script?
I think
it's
done.
The script is done. The movie is going to shoot this year, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff.
I was hoping they would scrap the whole thing, but it appears
Looks
we are
like
getting it.
I just watched the Batman again recently, and it didn't hold up nearly as well as I thought it did.
I decided after I saw it the first time that there's 1 or 2 scenes in the movie which are good, and I have no need to ever rewatch this thing ever again. I decided on my way out of the theater. and I think more and more will come to that. To me, that was the quintessential Biden era comic book movie. It was for so many reasons.
Yeah.
I like the music though.
It's that same thing over and over and over again.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it was a good theme, and I like that scene where he comes up walking with the music.
Yeah.
That's one of the good 2 moments in the movie. Of course, then you have the rest of the scene. You think about it and it falls apart, but that was a cool moment. And the other is when he decides, like, hell with it. He doesn't screw stealth, just knocks on the door. Know who I am? Let me talk to management. I mean, that was fun. I enjoyed that. But moving on, Views with Hughes wonders, Andre, care for an interview after your next video? Yeah, sure. Just send me an email and we'll work something out. Packing Protons says for $10 to reiterate a little clearer from Friday. Well, that's much appreciated. Thank you. Paul, how much would it cost to develop a site similar to YouTube with a built-in StreamYard? Make it a future YouTube killer. That's what he meant to say.
More than that
expensive.
$10 that you.
Yes, that sounds pretty expensive. I mean, the serving and the power cost alone would be quite significant.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Hey, I'll take
Oh,
that $10. Shoot, don't be knocking $10, man.
No, but
No. We appreciate the $10.
I'm just having fun, man.
yeah.
But I live in Cali, man. That'll give me one gallon.
Yeah,
half
Yeah.
a million. I'd say
Yeah.
half a million. Man, gas is $2.15 here.
yeah.
$2.15.
was in
Chato
South
has
Carolina
tuned
for 10
out
days.
completely because he's doing mental calculations to how much it would cost, and I think probably none of us are able to count that high.
That cow has left the barn.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to compete with YouTube. Facebook had a chance, but because they do host a ton of video, the problem is they chickened out, did not want to give away any of the money that they were making from the individual videos that people were populating on it on their channel, and they lost the chance to compete
Huge.
with YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
They also they're not expanding their server size. If you run a live video on Facebook, it lasts 30 days and then they delete it.
Wow.
It doesn't stay. So
So,
I think
do
you should look
know-
into this, Shadow. I think you should do it. And I think you should call it YouTube.
Well, I mean, I think YouTube is already YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You mean Hollywood? Ho, hi-oh, hi-oh.
YouTube in Hollywood.
I don't know. Jews
No.
ain't too popular in Hollywood these days unless you turn on us.
Yeah, or unless you go pro-Palestine or something.
Well, that's what I mean. You
Yeah.
either have to prostrate yourself and
Or
become-
support Maduro. Then
that's
might
fine
help.
too. That's fine.
Yeah, that's
Capo
also fine.
Jews are fine in Hollywood.
Yeah, and Henry Jeremiah has been a member for 14 months, saying, "Did you see James Gunn? A recent comment on Supergirl movie is not going to be like the comic book completely. It's only beyond some concept ideas of the comment. I think that gives me hope. Yeah, what you mean is it's not sticking too close to what
Woman
the
of Tomorrow.
CEI guy wrote in the books." Which I would agree is a good thing, but you shouldn't be using anything from Tom King's in the first place because it's just bad optics.
Sweet Summer Child. I don't believe a thing James Gunn says anymore. I mean, he just, who knows?
He just said that Man of Tomorrow is about Superman and Lex Luthor, and here are all the ways that they're like me, how they're me.
Yeah.
So basically, this movie is about James Gunn.
Yeah, and I understand that. That's how you write it, so it makes sense to you. But still, that's the kind of thing. If you do that, you shut up about it because it got really bad optics.
You don't make
But,
Superman a self-insert.
No, exactly. but again, or moving on, Jason Webster says for $5 Australian, Hollywood studios are the dinosaurs, and Netflix is the asteroid. Well, actually,
Well,
it's one of a major asteroid swarm, if anything. But yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
And then also don't forget the volcanoes on the ground poisoning the atmosphere as it is, because there's many things conspiring together right there. And then finally, Marksman of 117B says for $4.99, I realized how much cable mattered because so many people didn't know Space Kingsmas was based on the stop-motion Rudolph movies. Lost that center.
Yep, it's a shame.
Yeah.
It is a shame.
It is indeed. That's what the loss of monoculture is going to do to you. But anyway, we are all caught up. So with that, I would like to say thanks to everyone who's been watching today. It's been one hell of a show. Thanks to all of the panelists for being here. We had some great discussions. I can't wait to see all of your upcoming videos. Marvin's got some great stuff over at the M4 Empire since that particular relaunch. So everyone, be sure to check that out. Always check out Latinos Land, ever awesome. Of course, be sure to read Bleeding Fool in addition to that Park Place and Geeks and Gamers for your daily entertainment news. And of course, Chato and appalling news. I can't wait for your upcoming video detailing what's going on in Venezuela. And of course,
Today, right?
I'll be doing it. Yeah. Today, and I'll be doing a video
what?
on that myself. Yeah, something's going on in Venezuela. It's like weird stuff.
Mine came out. I put mine out yesterday, but I mean, which Chato in Venezuela, the connection. ¿Qué pasó?
Dude, wait for Andre in Venezuela.
Oh my god! So I can't wait to see those videos. And mine is up, and it's really reading Superwoman. Was it Superman, the actress from Superman?
Right.
From Venezuela.
Yes, I saw that. She's beautiful.
Oh my God, she's beautiful. And you know,
good video, Paulie.
Thank you. Sure, she's actually making a lot of freaking sense. So check mine out, but check everyone's out work here, guys. Please support us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anyone have anything extra they want to plug?
No, thanks for plugging me there.
Oh,
yeah. Point to plug. Yeah.
Plugging Chato on YouTube coming up soon.
Oh, that's how we roll.
Oh my God, my side.
Show.
Oh God. Ow, ow, ow.
Ow, indeed. All right, with that, everyone, thanks for joining us today. Be sure to check back later. Tom will be back again on Wednesday. Check out everyone's videos. Be sure to, I don't think we'll have another video today, but certainly we should have the Venezuela video up tomorrow. So check for that. And with that, it is time for some koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala, koala, koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given, koala, koala, koalas in the rain.